Well, hello, my beautiful Sagittarians. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using GAIA chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, something that may benefit you during this time is to really utilize this breath, this pause for yourself to visualize the sort of changes you desire to see in your world, whether it is financial or in terms of calling in opportunities. Really see it like you have it in the now, because the vibrations are calibrated with the GAIA chimes to align you with a vibration of manifestation. So something to think about as you utilize this time. Let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Sagittarians, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading is going to tap into what's going on with you right now and how you're moving through this time period, and of course what lies on the other side. Now, I don't know if you noticed with the GAIA chimes, they were very unusual this time round. It really felt like you were kind of like on the treadmill of life, okay? You're doing something, preparing for the next thing, onwards, onwards, onwards. It's never ending was what I was getting from that energy. But also there's this like background noise energy coming through, almost like you feel a little bit out of balance, out of sync, or there's a dissonance there. At the same time, I was seeing an image, because I'm scrying at the same time as doing your reading, of a cola bottle. Okay, and the lid was being flipped off this cola bottle. So it can indicate that some of you feel a bit under pressure, okay, or perhaps you feel that you are wanting life to be a little bit more fizzy, okay? But also it could be that you're keeping a lid on something at this time and you're about to like reveal it or expose it. I mean, my guides are showing me really up close with these little bubbles, the carbonated bubbles there. They're like moving. So it can be the way that they're moving. It's like agitation. Like it can be that you feel like there's a background agitation going on right now. I'm not really sure what my guides want me to give you with that, but I'm just aware of the image. So please apply it to your situation. It may not resonate with everyone, of course, but I have to honor what comes through there. Yeah, maybe it's all of those things. Maybe you feel there is a background dissonance, or maybe this could be with the world. You just feel a little bit out of sync with the world right now. You may feel that things have got highly pressurized. There's a lot of agitation, and you're trying to find your way through life right now. You're on the treadmill of life, and there's a lot of pressure. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's literally the equation of that symbolic cola bottle. For some of you, it could literally be that you're giving up fizzy drinks, perhaps. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to get to your cards and move forward. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Sagittarians? What do they need to be aware of? The first card there is the heart. You're trying to lead with heart-led purpose. What's crossing you is, look, we got the infinity sign, this endless loop. So it can be that that's what I was picking up on. I mean, there are infinite possibilities for you to follow your heart and find unity. Because, of course, the infinity sign is all about that unity, but also alignment. You may even feel like some of you may have thought recently, are your chakras out of alignment in some way and you're trying to get back into alignment? You know, there is that Kundalini energy there that's coming out on that card. You may even feel like you're in a very fast-paced timeline, as it were, but still it feels like you're in the same place. Like your advancement is slow in something, but at the same time you may feel like you're always in a rush. Maybe those bubbles represent this fizziness, like you're always on the go. It just feels like it's never ending. And then when you look at your progress, you're like, oh gosh, I've invested so much energy. Because if you think about cola bottles, you know, it's contained energy. So maybe it is about energy you're reading. You know, I'll get the rest of your cards before I really tap into what's going on here. I definitely see with the lips showing up in your reading, you want to reignite that spark, that passion, that lust for life, you know, to kind of like romance your life a little bit more. We got scissors, we got tear. I'm sending you a huge hug out there, my beautiful Sagittarians, because, you know, this is an energy that's connected to you, and we've got the tear there. So a lot of emotional fluctuations. You may be feeling the pressure or trying to release the pressure in some way. Could also be that you've been dealing with challenge and you've been processing some emotions that cathartically, maybe you've been keeping a lid on these emotions for a while, and now it's time to release it, to, you know, be free. It's a, you know, a time where humanity is trying to release the pressure. I just got to go get that card. And it's just like the world, you know, we're seeing a lot of volcanic activity. We're seeing earthquakes. We're seeing a lot of like kind of releasing of pressure of the earth. So it can be like that you're picking up on those vibes. Maybe it's not something that's personal to you, but this reading is all about you. But, you know, you're someone who absorbs energy as well. So maybe even other people's energy. Maybe that's the agitation in the background, the dissonance, or it just feels like you're aware of changes, or you're trying to understand the nature of your world and the surrounding world that you are part of. It's like you're trying to make sense of things. So I'm just going to go get that card. Okay, so one moment, please. Sorry about that, my beautiful Sagittarians. So the card that fell down there was the Buddha. Okay, so trying to find more peace and grounding, trying to cut out the noise, you know, the fray that is out there at this moment in time. Everyone's shouting into the void, as it were, about something, and it can be, sometimes it's really overwhelming, and you're just trying to reframe your life, perhaps to follow your heart, focus on your dreams and goals, and really try to ground yourself without distraction. Perhaps it's connected to all of these things. Maybe there's just a lot going on right now. You may feel sometimes your thoughts are scattering into many different places, and you feel this desire to ground in some way. We've got the DNA there, the roots. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. I mean, we got the scissors, so some of you are literally cutting something out of your life, and because we have the DNA there and the heart, it can be that you're thinking about your health at this time. You know, you're cutting out things that perhaps don't align with you or not helping you in any way. I mean, you got the sun and the anchor as the outcome energy, so this is about grounding. It's about really looking at where you feel like you belong. You know, you're not someone who desires to fit in, as it were. You're someone who naturally is very independent, someone who has that spark, that passion, but you may have felt that life has been grinding you down, and you've been noticing like friendships evolving perhaps, or situations that you used to be excited about before. Perhaps they just don't hit in the same way anymore. And you're trying to make sense of this change within you. Maybe you've had a change of heart, or perhaps you feel like something in your body is shifting or changing, and you just don't feel the same way anymore about certain things. You're evolving, maturing, and you're trying to navigate your way through these changes. So, for example, if you've been dealing with some sort of health issue, or perhaps you have been navigating some bodily changes recently, this can be that you're trying to conquer it, manage it, find grounding in it, you know, really work with it at this time. So some of you may be, you know, trying to feel that you ground yourself. I mean, it could also be that you are navigating your way through something and you're trying to just achieve stability in an ever-changing situation. Okay, and that can be that the world always moves the goalpost right now, and there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of talk about changes and shifts to come in the future on so many levels, and it can be that you're feeling the pressure of that, and it's always so much, and you're like, okay, let's silence this, let's bring it back to the layer of self, of the heart. What does my heart want? What is my dream? What is my goal? Where do I want to be? Where do I want to reside? What is calling me right now? You know, sometimes we have to silence our surroundings or quieten the noise so we can hear our heart, because it does whisper, it knows the way, but we've built such a loud environment that there's so many distractions, you know, not just cell phones, but, you know, airplanes flying overhead, helicopters, cars, you know, constant bombardment of information, text messages, reels, emails, all of the stuff, phone calls, it's loud, okay? And it can be that that is the kind of like pollution of our environment, the whole thing. And you want to just come back to your center right now and go, breathe. What is it my heart really wants in all of this noise? And this can be like you have conflict that you're dealing with a person, or you feel that you're outgrowing something or somebody right now, and you're trying to find your heart in all of this and go, you know what, I need to do what's best for me, but at the same time, I'm leading with compassion on a situation and just wanting the best for people, but I'm outgrowing them and I'm stepping away and I'm cutting out things so I can design my life so that it can bring happiness, joy, and fulfillment. So I really get a sense here you're trying to gain some control in some way, because the scissors indicate that you are cutting out, or you're doing something that you're cutting out at this time. And if you think about the nature of scissors, you could be cutting around something, like cutting something or someone out, or it can be that you are kind of like reshaping, redefining, or rewiring, as it were. Because the heart is an electrical pulse, right? So it doesn't always have to be about redefining or designing. It can be that you're looking at your energy levels and kind of really trying to align yourself with things that inform your heart or that makes your heart sing with joy, trying to romance your life once more, to try and make things more exciting, or, you know, rediscover a part of yourself that you feel like you've lost touch with. And as we start to evolve, we start to outgrow situations, we start to change how we feel about things. We may even be very nostalgic and feel, oh, I used to feel that way back in the past, and now I feel very different. So it can be that you're navigating a new you or new version of you, and it all starts with the heart, because this is your foundation card. A lot of you at this time as well focus on heart health. So it could be that you're changing and shifting your diet, the way that you encounter situations, removing drama, you know, so that you kind of like come back to your center. But it says here, emotions, focused on love, heart's calling, affairs of the heart. So for a lot of you, you know, this can be that if you are looking for love, for example, and although this is something that is outside of you, because this reading's about you, this can be something that you desire from the very core of you. So if you are searching for love, I do see here a flirtation coming on in, okay? And actually someone that you'll be very happy with. You'd settle down with this person. But I feel there's a cord cutting, perhaps from a previous situation that you felt you needed to protect yourself from. I mean, you have the umbrella in the past. So this means that, you know, you're not going to encounter, you know, a loving situation that basically is toxic or negative. You know, you will meet a person who really kind of aligns with your emotions, someone who has a depth of feeling, someone who perhaps, you know, brings a lot of peace. You can actually see yourself like blending your life with this person. So if you are searching for love, because of course the heart can indicate your primary focus right now is to do things that you love, to connect to people that you love, to be very protective over the people that you love, to be passionate about the things that you want to achieve. But also it can be to search for love. If you're someone who's already in a relationship, it can be that, you know, you've had some conflicts at some point. You know, looking at them, they range from major and minor is what I'm seeing here. But I feel like you and your relationship is protected. That, you know, there is an energy here of wanting change in some capacity in your relationship, but you find your way back towards each other. It will be challenging, but it can be that there's a lot of emotions that need to be exposed, to be processed, to come out so that you can understand each other better. You know, there is an energy here of understanding with the Buddha, but also, you know, it can be even something from your person's past or your past that has been a blockage in your relationship, something that has been left unprocessed, something that perhaps is not even to do with either of you together. It can be something that's separate, and it can be that you are understanding and offering unconditional love for your partner, if you have a partner or somebody that's close to you, and you're guiding them through something so they can understand more about themselves. And it's challenging, but at the same time, you're there for them and you're there for it. It can indicate that you're helping them, and it reshapes the landscape of your relationship. But also this could be a friendship, or it could be a family member, or it could be yourself really trying to understand more about what it is that you want in your life, and you're leading with your heart. But I can see that if you are in a relationship, you grow back together and there is a deeper understanding. And if you're searching for love, I see, very intimate relationship coming on in here. Also, this person's a really good kisser, okay? It's in their kiss for sure, but I feel like you're going to be truly happy with this person, and it is a divine union, okay? And you may actually do a lot of traveling with this person, but ultimately you and this person, you find home in each other, okay? Now, this reading's not meant to be a career reading, money reading, love reading, or anything like that. This is about you focus on your heart. And you may feel that there's been a lot of very strange occurrences in the world that have turned the world upside down to some degree, amplified a level of crazy, to the point where you may feel that you are at odds with the world, or you feel like somehow you don't fit anymore, and you're searching for where you fit. But as I said before, you're not someone who desires to fit in. You're someone who's very independent. But I feel like in a world where you feel, especially since the umbrella is there, you may feel that there are some changes to come that you feel you need to protect yourself from in some way. I feel like you're like, okay, that's so much pressure. Let's come back to the self. Let's come back to my heart. So it can be that you're trying to, as I said, silence the noise, reframe your life in some way and saying, I need to cut this out. This causes high cortisol levels. I need to cut this out because it causes a lot of stress. That is causing a lot of agitation. It's like you don't want to focus on these things. You're still having compassion for people around you and circumstances. You're always there to help. But right now, you are looking at something that you feel is a bit of a loop, that you feel has been either slowing you down or making you feel like you're out of balance. I mean, it literally says there, harmony and balance. And I said at the beginning of your reading, before even this card came out, that I feel there's something in the background that feels like it's at odds, or there's a dissonance, or you feel out of balance with something. There's like a disharmony somewhere in your life right now. And it can be that you felt that in the past things were just easier, and somehow now it just feels like you're out of alignment, or the things that you used to love, because we have the heart card there, they are things that you feel a little bit like disconnected from in some way, and you need to rediscover something within yourself, or rediscover you at this moment in time. But it says eternal and limitless, harmony and balance, kundalini energy and dualism and unity. So I feel a lot of this could be that some of your friendships or relationships or things that you used to do, like hobbies, things that you were passionate about, have changed in some way. It just feels like, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, I'm just being given this energy, and you may not resonate with this, but I have to honor what has just come out from my guides, which is, it's almost like you went to sleep and had a dream, and then you woke up and you're like, okay, everything just feels different. Like, when did it change? What happened there? Okay, so I feel there's this energy of you just suddenly feeling at odds with something. So for some of you, because the DNA is there, it could be, that perhaps you developed something, or perhaps your body changed in some way, and you're trying to manage that at this time. For some of you, if you are, for example, a woman going through menopause, it could be that like suddenly, like out of nowhere, you were hit by this new stage, as it were, a new era in your life, and you're like, everything changed, everything went out of balance, out of alignment, and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I manage this? Because if you think about an anchor, anchors need to find stability in choppy waters, let's put it that way. So Please apply it to your situation. Not everybody who's listening to this reading is a menopausal woman, for example. It can be that something just feels a little bit out of sync and you're trying to find your way back to that grounding. And I definitely see that you will, okay? Also, if you're trying to manifest something and work really hard towards something, I feel, you are going to make progress. It is slow moving, okay? I mean, you've got the turtle there. So this is a slow moving process, but also it means you're secure. It means you're protected in your situation, whatever this is. And I feel it's very important to recognize, because I'm seeing like the tortoise and the hare right now, slow and steady wins the race. You're creating something that's long lasting, whatever that is, whether you're trying to move towards retirement or feel secure in your 401ks and, feel that you are supported and that you've made progress towards stability in some way. I feel like you are someone who is on that course, okay? Or the universe is going to intervene to help you have infinite possibilities and options to find that security that you seek, whether it's financial or whether it's emotional right now. Because a lot of you could be processing something that perhaps gave a lot of heartbreak and sadness and challenge, something that you feel perhaps you were worried about in the first place. So I'm just being given this energy, so I'm just going to run with it because my guides are giving it to me. For some of you, you may have feared something happening for a long time, and then it just happened. It just happened, and you're like, you guarded yourself against this, you protected yourself against this, but we have the tear here, so this can indicate either it happened, or it's like the fear of it happening still hurts or haunts you in some way. So for example, because we've got the heart there, it can be that you were in a relationship with a person and you deeply love this person, and you had moments, fleeting moments of fear of losing the relationship or being like abandoned in the connection or perhaps hurt in the connection, and then the inevitable just happened anyway. And it's like, sometimes it's really important to recognize we must live in the moment and enjoy the moment, because the moment will change. The one thing that's constant in life, and I don't like this myself either, but I kind of do as well, because sometimes we need change. But sometimes we have to acknowledge that the one constant in life is change. Seasons change, people change, circumstances change, and we are riding that wave called life. And sometimes the universe will separate us from things or situations that we either outgrow or that do not deserve a place on our future path. Okay? And I'm just talking about relationships, like romantic relationships. They teach us a lesson, and some relationships, they serve a purpose. People are here for a reason or a season sometimes. And if you're dealing with that, I'm sending you a huge hug out there, because it can feel very discombobulating, like you're navigating a new world. For some of you, there's a different kind of heartbreak here that I'm picking up on, because we do have heartbreak and the tear there. So you could be grieving a person. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love if you are in grief right now and, you are trying to remember a person and, have those heart-to-heart conversations. They can hear you, okay? If this is someone who's transitioned, who's passed away, this person is around you. They're going to send you lots of signs. And especially in moments of stillness, you're just going to notice things and certain signs. Ask for specific ones. You're going to get them. You're going to get what you wish for. So that's coming out there as well. But the healing process is going to be very changeable. And you know that. You're navigating this. And there are literally no words of comfort anyone probably can ever offer you. And, there is that sentence, and I don't really like the sentence that time is a healer. I feel time just helps you manage things. The wound is always there. You just get better at managing the feelings. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there if you're in grief right now. Not everybody is, and I want you to be aware this is not something to come. This is something that you're dealing with right now that I'm picking up on, because it's a crossing energy here. But the anchor indicates emotional grounding and unwavering dedication, it says there. So I feel like even though someone may have transitioned, passed away, they are always with you. They are dedicated to you, and they are protecting you. and they walk by your side and are going to send you infinite like signs and symbols to let you know of their presence. And they hear you. That's what I'm being given. So with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to disconnect from that energy, okay, and ground the energy. But for the rest of you who are not dealing with this can be that sometimes, you're leading with heart-led purpose and you are trying to change your life in some way. And there's infinite possibilities for you to do that. But sometimes you feel like you have setback after setback and it slows you down. But I feel like you're about to move past this slow moving energy. Slow and steady does win the race, but I feel like you're about to have a breakthrough with those scissors. It's like cut, release. It's almost like you are opening up a new portal, or you are completing something and then you're on to like an upgrade. Sometimes the universe will remove distractions before you align with an upgrade. So a lot of you, it can be that you are removing things with that scissors energy in order to align with an upgrade in life, okay? But you're navigating this kind of new period in some way. I mean, the Kundalini energy and the dualism and unity, this is something that will come back into alignment. So this could be something personal. A lot of you could be doing like yoga poses, or, having moments of stillness to realign your body, or just take a breath, especially during moments of challenge and pause. If you feel like you're not moving ahead on something, sometimes we need to take a step back in order to observe. And you may be doing that at this moment before you have like a huge step forward, because I feel there's this huge leap going on there. But there is something here about energy. So some of you may have felt like heavy in your energy. Maybe you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders right now. For some of you, because that turtle literally has the home on their back, it can be that, you feel that you are bound to something like mortgage repayments or debt, or something that you feel responsible for, but actually I feel like you will set yourself free from this eventually. It feels like a methodical process towards setting yourself free from something and then being more in the flow. So I feel like you will be back in the flow of things. But it does say here, slow moving will take a while, slow and steady progress, and don't rush. Okay, so this could be about your body as well. It could be that you're trying to slow down your pace in life, that you don't like always having to be rushed. You always feel like people are putting the pressure on. It feels like you're trying to come back to this heart center. A lot of this energy is all about that. And, you don't also want to be in friendships that just kind of like pick you up, put you down, like rush the conversation. You don't want to be in circumstances where you feel that people are not valuing time spent with you, or like, I do feel it comes down to value. A lot of what you're investing in, I feel like you're looking at right now, do people or situations invest in you in the same way? And then I feel with the heart, you've given an understanding, an unconditional love understanding of like, okay, they probably are really busy. They don't have time. They don't have the opportunity to do this right now. And I feel like it's almost like with the infinity symbol there, it's like you've kind of like offered excuses as to why people or situations may not invest in you at certain times. But I feel like you're running out of those excuses and thinking, actually, I invest all of my energy into this person or this situation, and enough. Yes, everybody's busy, but everybody has the opportunity to invest in a relationship, friendship, even if it's like a 5-second text, So it can be that you are, as you start to slow down your pace, everybody's at different paces, but you may feel actually you're starting to observe things in this slower pace where you're noticing where you invest and where you need to cut out, or where you need to readdress a balance with something. So I just feel, I'm being given a film right now, a random film, The Matrix, of course, and it's like everything is whirring around, and it's like the main character is very much in a very slow moving observation process. So don't get me wrong, I feel like you are super busy and the world around you is super busy right now as well, but there's something about you that feels like it's very much grounded on observing things, or you're trying to get to that place where you ground and observe things that perhaps are making you change your life in some way. Okay, that's something that's coming out there. With the umbrella, it's in the past. It's like waiting out the storm. Okay, so you may feel that The world has changed, and of course, there is this desire for protection and stability in an ever-changing environment. And I feel like you are trying to make sense with things that somehow didn't always make sense, but really you could find some sense in it. But now you may be like, well, now there's no sense in anything, and everything feels a little bit like topsy-turvy. Okay, because this card is there, it tells me that you are protected during these changes, but it also feels like it's made you feel in the last couple of years, perhaps, and I'm just saying perhaps because this is the energy that I've got coming through, that you feel like you always have to be prepared for change because there's a fight or flight kind of energy here that may have raised cortisol levels, that may have made you feel like you're always preempting change or something that you need to protect yourself from. I mean, humanity did go through like a major trauma, let's put it that way, over the last couple of years. And it can be that it's residual energy, even though you're getting back to life, everybody's back to life, doing the thing, blah, blah, blah. It can be that there's like a haunted energy in the back of your mind. Now you're kind of like wondering what's next. Okay, so there's just this energy because it says here, prepared for trouble, anticipating difficulties. You're protected, but you're waiting out the storm. So it can be that these are things that perhaps you never really thought about, but now they've been amplified and you're trying to just make sense of things and get back to a grounded position. Okay, and this could be in terms of your work. It can be in terms of the economy. It can be in terms of your relationships, friendships, or even how you feel within yourself. I feel there's so many layers to you right now that you're thinking about and how these changes have affected you. But also it can be that you are literally trying to make some changes right now in your life, something that you should be excited about. But because either it's you navigating new environments, uncharted territory, and the things that you are cutting out in order to achieve what you desire, to really romance your life a little bit more, to even communicate yourself from a healthy place, requires a certain way of communication. It can be that you're changing the way that you conduct yourself, and people are putting you into a little box of expectation because that's the way you always used to be. But now you're different. Now you've changed. And now they're like, oh, new Sagittarius, not sure if I like this, or because there's no control. So it can be that you are redefining yourself in some way and you are shedding aspects of self in order to rebirth yourself in some way. But also, whatever it is you're trying to change, I mean, for some of you, it could be a move. Trying to move abroad or trying to navigate some new changes in your life, and you are expecting difficulty. Now, I would say the only challenge here is that you're a fire element and you want to go a little bit quicker. So the only challenge would be it's a slow-moving process. I don't see anything else getting in the way. I mean, there may be some rules, regulations, or policies or changes that you have to navigate, but I don't see them blocking you. I see a very peaceful transition, actually, to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. But I feel this is about locking into the layers of how it could be exciting, the positive aspects, maybe a change of mindset, rather than think about potential difficulties or what could go wrong. Think about what could go right, and you're going to see more of what could go right. And if anything does have a bit of a blip there, I feel like you're someone who has infinite possibilities to actually navigate this or find an alternative way. You're capable, you have resources, you're very talented, gifted, intelligent, and you tend to see strategy. So I feel you'd be really great at plot twisting if you needed to, but I don't see any plot twists there, okay? A lot of you, I feel like you're in a period of separating from things that do not align with your heart. Now we have lips, potential energy. Now this is about sensuality in your life. This is about flirting with life again. You know, it doesn't mean you have to be out there flirting with people. It can be that you want a little bit more free-spirited energy. You know, you want to think about what if and be adventurous. You know, it always comes back to this energy of, my beautiful Sagittarians, you may feel that responsibility has clipped your wings in some way, or challenges have kind of kept you rooted or grounded, and you want to be a little bit more free. So I feel this card is about, you know, setting your soul on fire, connecting to the things that you love doing, being more creative or passionate, being more independent, being like unstoppable in your energy. Sometimes life, we want to do that, but responsibility says we got to do certain things in order to pay bills, in order to do life, right? So it's about finding the blend. You can find the blend there with that infinity symbol. So it says kiss, intimate communication, flirtation, and sensuality. A lot of you could be learning to, communicate yourself in a healthier way, or really be direct about what it is that you want. The scissors can be cutting. So it can be that in your directness, some people may see it as cutting, but actually you are being decisive and saying, I don't want to waste time. Life is too short. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And the right people are going to really respect you for that. I'm a Scorpio, and I love people who are super direct. I don't want anyone to be like skirting around, telling me a little bit, oh, well, it could be like this. I'm like, just cut to the chase. How is it? Tell me, because I can deal with that. So I feel you are someone who really gets to the point. And it can be that you've noticed friendships are evolving, or situations you're outgrowing, and you're just being direct and cutting these things out so that you are free, because it's weighing you down. Something here you may feel is out of alignment, and you feel it is slowing you down or weighing you down. It's heavy. And I feel there is this energy of protection towards getting what you desire, but at the same time, you're like, I want to release the pressure. I want to be a little bit lighter in energy. Of course, this can represent a flirtation as well. It's in your potential position. But because the sensuality is there on that card, it means you want to romance your life a little bit more. Find the fun, find the passion, find the fizziness in the cola bottle. Release the pressure and let the fizziness flow. So maybe that's what that cola bottle was all about. Now, in the near future, we have the scissors. So that does mean that you are making some changes. You're doing some redesign in your life, as it were, on so many levels. But it says here, separation, cutting something out, letting go, and wanting change. So you could literally be cutting something out. I mean, the fact that the cola bottle's there, it can actually represent so many different things, okay? So it can be that you're cutting out things that are not good for you to be focused on your health, but it can also indicate that, there are certain things that have been weighing you down, and you want to get a little bit more of a spark back into your life. So you're looking at what you need to do in order to recalibrate your energy levels and your interests. So, wanting change, I feel, of course, in your world and in the world at large, you want change, okay? I mean, looking at the energy, you're someone that I could see like running the world, because you start with the heart energy, and you are someone who has a lot of compassion. You care so much. And then you have the infinity symbol, which means you have this desire for unity. You can see the dissonance in the world. You want people to come together in love, to care about each other, to be in acceptance of each other. Everyone's different, and yet we are all one. We are all still connected. And you have the turtle, which means you're aware that you can't rush this. You're aware that you would take time in order to make people feel secure, that we're all working towards one thing. Because if you think about humans, I mean, the majority of humans on this planet actually just want to live in harmony. They just want to do life. They just want to protect their family. They just want to make a living. I mean, basically, it would be nice if we didn't all have to work so hard to make ends meet. It would be really lovely if we could just follow our heart and do our thing and, live with unity in the land and, be able to feed ourselves and all of those things. But that's not the way that the structure is right now. So it can be that, you just want to do life, and you are aware that people just want to do life. That's all they're concerned with. There's only a minute few who perhaps want to have dissonance or fear or, cannot find their way to live in harmony in some way. But looking at the energy, I feel like you're a very protective force. I feel, healthy communication is the key. Having everybody say what they want to say is important. To have a point of view is important. If you don't agree with that point of view, as long as you're not hurting somebody, it can be that we acknowledge someone's point of view in order to try and understand their viewpoint. So it can be that you're someone who could bring people together, who could anchor things, who could bring peace and harmony. So I feel like you're striving for that in your own world as well. You just want to get on by, and you just want to do things where it aligns with your heart, and you don't want disarray, you don't want conflict, you don't want these things. So if you have had some sort of agitation with someone in the background, or, there's been some conflict, I feel like you are kind of like stepping away from it or done with it, cutting it out, because you feel like it's just unnecessary. It's just causing you a distraction right now, and you just want to follow your heart. You just want to do things and have happiness. You just want to bring joy into your world, because the sun is there, and the sun will be out in your world. But some of you may have to actually disconnect, step back from, or cut out something or somebody right now in order to allow that process to unfold. I feel a lot of you are trying to quieten the noise in order to disconnect from people or situations right now, maybe even to some degree world events. And I'm not saying that you are ignoring or shutting things out because you're not going to help in any way. I feel like you're doing your bit. You've got the heart there, which means you care so much. But sometimes you may feel very overwhelmed. So it's about, perspective. It's about bringing things into balance. But you may be kind of separating yourself from the noise right now so that you can hear your heart. You can hear your higher self. And that can be a very lonely process. Okay? That can be, you're trying to align yourself with purpose right now, and you are aware that you need to let go of anything that's hurting you. The tear is in your advice to yourself in this moment position. Every position in this spread has a meaning. And this can indicate that you're trying to cut out things that hurt you, people that hurt you, circumstances that just feel like too much of a struggle. Now, don't get me wrong. The things that we desire to achieve in life sometimes is hard. And you care so much, the pressure is on. Anything that you reach for, it tends to be pretty hard until you are aligned with a sense of value, that you deserve it and that you've worked really hard for it. Not in an egotistical way, but that brings you into alignment, and then it streamlines your energy so that you can accomplish it. You have that breakthrough. And I feel like you're about to have that breakthrough because you're coming into alignment on something. So whether you are coming into alignment with your body because you are sitting with self, trying to manage pressure, cortisol levels, your bodily needs at this time. It can be that you're coming into alignment so that you're able to manage certain symptoms if you've been dealing with something. Same with a relationship or a friendship or financial circumstance, whatever it is for you. I feel this is about rejecting things that hurt you or rejecting things that cause you pain, suffering. If there's something that you really love eating, for example, and every time you eat it, it bloats out your tummy and it's really sore, and you're like, oh, it makes me feel lethargic, or it makes you feel unwell. It can be that, it's time to cut that out, or I want to say diminish it. So you may be slowly cutting it out or phasing it out of your diet, for example, because your body is giving you a signal. And I feel you are kind of paying attention to your body's needs right now because you have the DNA symbol there. But it says here, heartbreak, denial of emotions, rejection, and love and hate. So it can be that, of course, there is an energy where there's duality. I mean, I don't like this as much as you probably don't like this, but the law of the universe is that there is an opposite for everything. There's a balancing out energy. For love, there is hate. You're leading with love. You're aware that there is agitation as an opposite, but I feel like you don't want to follow that path. But also it can be, that you are cathartically tapping into some emotions that you feel have been buried for some time. Perhaps it is you redefining how you feel about a person or situation. If you've hated somebody because they've caused you pain or challenge in the past, it can be that those emotions, whilst they are valid and warranted, because anger exists in the body for a reason. But anger, this can be that you are punishing yourself because you feel the anger, you feel the pain, your body is feeling it. The other person's not feeling it. You're angry at that person, but they're not feeling it. They're just living their life. Maybe not even thinking about stuff that they did to you. But you're holding this as a pain body in your body. And it can be that you're redefining how you feel about something. And, maybe you're labeling something else. Maybe you are cutting it out, releasing yourself from it because it has been weighing you down. Many years ago, I was in one of the most damaging relationships imaginable. So many layers. And, for a certain period of time, in the grief of the aftermath of that relationship that was like very, very toxic, the certain stage that I got to, there was anger, like rage. I was like, why did this happen to me? What is it about that person that they felt they could do that to me? There was so much anger, and that could have consumed me. It could have ended me. So much anger and stress and, all of those things. But if I carried that with me, it would have slowed me down in life. I would always be looking back at this moment. I would have carried that heavy burden, that baggage with me. So some of you are redefining something from your past right now to be free of it, to cathartically let go of it so that you can anchor your emotions. Doesn't mean that how you feel isn't valid. Doesn't mean that you are forgiving your past in order to set someone free or a situation free or give them a free pass and say it's not okay. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that you're carrying this with you, and it is heavy, and it is like existing within you, and it could be hurting you. So a lot of you are cathartically processing to let go of something so that you can be free of it, so it does not impede on your future happiness. Because our past, you have the umbrella, which represents some sort of challenge, storm, or trouble, difficulty that you had in the past that you have been protected from to a certain degree, but it can be that it has existed within you, and whilst it shaped who you are, because the scissors are about shaping things, whilst it shaped who you are and you're a very strong person, we do not heal in order to be strong enough to manage more sadness, pain, or struggle. We actually heal to allow ourselves, or almost give ourselves permission to have joy, so that we can trust that joy exists, so that we can trust that we can be happy again. So sometimes, the healing process is to recognize that we are now breaking ourselves open so the light can get in. Sometimes we have to acknowledge that when life does break us, because sometimes it does, we go through an ego death, to many different degrees. And it's because you're ready to be put back together differently. There's a new you here, and that is where the light gets in. I know a lot of people will have heard that sentence before, but those cracks are there so that you can find your wholeness and recognize that you are unbreakable. But at the same time, you must not carry this with you, because that will impede your progress or keep you stifled or stuck in something. It will bond you to that moment. And you'll always reflect back to that moment when you're about to break free from it towards something that you would truly be happy with. So for example, if you got hurt in a relationship, but you are holding on to the experiences that you had. They informed you, they taught you a lesson to notice red flags for the future, but not to revisit those things. So it can be that you sometimes can be triggered when you're about to fall in love with a new person. Like suddenly all those fears come back because you've had an experience that really let you down or destroyed part of you. But now you're redefining that moment so you can be free of it, so you can actually fall in love and with wild abandonment, so that you can actually feel completely consumed in the relationship and not be looking over your shoulder wondering if this new relationship is going to go down the same path as the last one. Does that make sense? So that's coming through there for some of you, and I feel like you will achieve a very dedicated relationship if you are someone who's searching for love. I want you to be aware of that, and you're not repeating a past situation, because the umbrella, the need for protection, is in the past. Now, of course, life is life, and we always have to be aware that everything can change. But I do see that, there is an energy here where it says security and safety. This is outcome energy. And that you are safe to shine your light. You're safe to be that magnet of energy that you are, attracting opportunity, experiences, love, abundance, and you're secure to have it. And you will find stability in that part of your world that you feel is a little bit out of sync. But this is circumstances outside of yourself. We got the Buddha there. So this can be that you are actively seeking things that help you realign or ground you. It could be like yoga, meditation, Pilates, Tai Chi. It could be something energy related right now that brings you back to self. This could also be your faith. My readings are not about religion, but it can be that you're trying to ground yourself in order to come into a period of reflection, know your heart, know who you are. One of the greatest quests in life is to know thyself on a deeper level, because there's so many distractions. Sometimes we don't have a moment to think, well, who am I? How do I feel about this? Sometimes we'll have a gut instinct or an instant reaction about something, and that is normally your truth. That is, your body reacting straight away, saying, this is how I feel, no filter. And I feel like you're the sort of person who has no filter, but perhaps life has taught you to, especially in the last couple of years, to look at your filter and manage it. So I feel a lot of you may also be trying to break free from that so that you can get back to being the person with no filter, shining your light. So it says here, fulfilling your destiny, reflection, positive thinking, and understanding. You're trying to understand, make sense of the world around you, but it starts with your heart first. So it can be that you're trying to understand yourself first so you can navigate the next part of your life. And I feel you get to where you want to be. You achieve that. We also have DNA, okay? So because the DNA is there, it's in a hope and a fear position. It can be some of you are looking at like generational patterns, cycles that you are disconnecting from right now. Also, some of you may be looking at like generational hereditary conditions, for example. It could be that you are worried that perhaps at this moment in time, if you're looking into this, it could be that a certain family member or someone who's in an immediate family role or even a distant hereditary condition. You may be looking into that right now or worried about it or kind of like hoping that you don't get it. Or it could be that there's certain traits and genes that you're hoping you have got when it comes to your family lineage, but I feel there is this energy of if you are kind of like, let's tell it how it is, right? If there is like a history of conditions regarding the heart in your family, it could be that you are super aware of it because, they are managing it or have managed it in the past. It can be that you're super aware of it and now you're managing it for you, that you are cutting certain things out in order to make sure that you align with healthier practices in life. So, these can be literal cards like heart, cutting something out because in your DNA, there may have been some sort of condition that you're aware of and you're protected. Looking at the energy, you're protected, but you're making necessary steps in order to do that. So these can be practical things that you're doing right now. But ultimately, because this card has shown up, I feel this is about you feeling a little bit lost within yourself, because this is a card of identity and it's in the hope and a fear. So it can be that you feel that you've lost touch with yourself, or you've lost touch with something that you desired, or you may feel like you've lost that spark. And for some of you, because there is a large plane going over that you may hear on the mic right now, it could be that you feel to some degree you've lost that sense of adventure or freedom in some way, or you feel that you haven't had a glow up for a while. And it is about rediscovering yourself and coming back to self so that you can, advance or have that upgrade in your life and rediscover those things and have that breakthrough that you're about to have. But it says here, roots, identity, DNA, inheritance, and ancestral karma. A lot of you are going through a cord cutting process, and that is one of the hardest things to do, to break free from generational wounding or cycles of repeat. So for example, if you witnessed your grandparents and maybe your parents divorcing, for example, or having turbulent relationships, it can be that you've aligned with a desire to break free from that cycle. You may witness that, oh, that's exactly what happened with them, and that happened with them, and then there was a potential that it could have happened with you as well, and you're like, nope, you shut it down. You cut a cord. You stopped it in its tracks. Could also be connected to toxic environments, for example, that you are witnessing that perhaps, now this is really like specific, and I'm not being given any kind of like exact career path. So, for example, if your family lineage were always a certain person in a career or had a certain label as a career, so I'm just going to pull something out. Like, for example, if they were CEOs of financial institutions, right? It can be that very high pressured environment, maybe a lot of toxic energy in offices or working practices. It can be that you decided not to follow the family trait to go into that line of business because you felt it was not in alignment with your heart. It was a very toxic environment. You may have even tried it out, tested it, trialed it, and thought, nope, not for me. So you've decided to go your own way to free yourself up. So I feel a lot of you are just looking at that right now and going, well, who am I in all of this? This is my life. I'm going to live in accordance with my rules, regulations, and I'm not going to follow a path that is just expected of me. So I'm just getting this all coming out. So maybe a lot of you are dealing with many different things there, okay? And it's just like, I'm going to go my way. But in the last couple of years, you're like, well, who am I then? Because things seem to have changed, or the way you feel about things have changed. So I feel a lot of soul searching going on in your reading. Right now, a lot of you, if you are a parent, for example, it can be that, you follow your heart, you've had children, you're guiding the next generation, and it can be that you have synced your life with them. You are guiding the next generation, so therefore you're giving so much of your unconditional love and care, guidance, and devotion. And at the same time, you've lost a part of yourself. You become a label now, like Ma or Pa, for example. It can be that now you are kind of like, to some degree, the identity is like you're no longer your name exactly. You are mom or dad, right? So it can be that you're looking at how you have dissolved your sense of self through the act of raising the next generation. It can be that now, your social activities are more aligned with your children. It can be that they have a better social life than you right now, for example. So you can be just noticing the evolution of life and your circumstances. For some of you, you may not be able to have children, and it can be that you are trying to navigate, friendships where they have children and you feel somehow disconnected because that's not something that you align with. You still align with those people, but now they have different conversations. They have different ways of, doing life, different things that they connect to. And you may be trying to find your way through that. For some of you, you may not want to have children. This reading's not really about children. It hasn't really come up there, but it can be about the next generation because the DNA has shown up there. So if you're not wanting to have children, it can be that that's the path you've chosen. You've disconnected from something that you feel that you are not aligned with. And it can be that, sometimes people question you about that, or you are not here to like make your feelings palatable for someone else. So you are so fed up of having to explain yourself and you're like, it is what it is. But it can be that, you feel somehow out of sync or out of alignment with people around you who perhaps are doing these things. So there's a lot going on in this reading right now, and I feel there's many layers to you, but ultimately you're striving for happiness. The sun is the energy of success, of positivity, and it is your outcome card, so I'm really excited to see that. But this can be that you are focused on the self. The sun is all about ego, and I'm not talking about the ego like, hey, I'm here, I'm the best, at everything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this sense of identity, of who you are and how you interact with your world and the many layers of it. You are many people to many different people. You're still the same person, but they get, the true authentic version of you, but their perception puts you into their kind of like idea of what they feel you are to them, if that makes sense. So, there is this energy here of you kind of like shining your light, rediscovering who you feel like you are, and feeling more happy that you have this sense of freedom, fulfillment, that passion, that spark returning. It's like you're rediscovering yourself and maybe even redefining yourself along the way, becoming, as it were. But it says your happiness, success, clarity, and divine masculine. So a lot of you, it can be that you're taking action, doing something that your heart feels called to do. You're going to be very successful at it. You know, it may need you to streamline your path in some way. It may need you to communicate yourself from a healthy place. It may need you to be more lighthearted in some way, to bring yourself to a grounded position so that you are feeling peaceful. Suddenly you have this breakthrough where it's like, it's a relief. It's all coming together. And we have that anchor. If you're trying to move, for example, some of you could be trying to move to a place that's like near the sun, for example, or that is warm, for example. And when I say near the sun, it could be that you're wanting to move to an elevated position, for example. But we have security and safety, achieving stability, unwavering dedication, a strong bond, and enduring. I feel like whatever you're doing, you are unstoppable. You're going to achieve whatever it is you set out to do. But this is also about you looking at who is dedicated to you, who invests, who is unwavering, who do you have a bond with, you know, but also what do you bond with? The circumstances. Sometimes we can follow a path that our heart really calls to be in, and then suddenly we go there, we learn some lessons, and we kind of like evolve away from it and say, okay, it's not what I thought it would be. I got there, I got to that position. Do I still love it though? And if the answer is no, you could be cutting it out. That doesn't mean you're failing at something that you dedicated your life to. It means you have grown into a position where you are confident enough to say, I've been there, I've done that, and now what's next? I'm excited about something new. It can be that you are kind of like admitting to yourself something or somebody is no longer for you, and you're okay with that because the next part of your journey is going to bring so much peace, alignment, and fulfillment. This could be that you find home. If you're searching for a new location, for example, anchor is where you kind of draw the anchor down to stay a while. Doesn't mean that you're locked in there. Doesn't mean that you're trapped in there. Doesn't mean that you have to be there forever. It can mean that, you know, you want to stay a while. But also, it can mean that you're coming home to self. And the self is always evolving. So this is you coming home to self right now. But you will be a different version of yourself in years to come, just like you're different from when you were younger. So I feel it's about this evolving process in life and you moving through this. There are many layers, many paths, many versions of you, but still all of them are authentic and true. So this is a very deep reading. I didn't ever imagine a reading like this was going to come out there, but there it was. So maybe it resonates with someone out there. I feel like you're going to be achieving a lot. We've got divine connection. Yes, you want to be connected to things. You want to find the connection again. You may even feel like society has lost its way. It's lost its soul in some way. It feels so disconnected, even though we've built tools, as it were, to bring us together. It has shut us out and separated us. You know, you can connect to a person who's at a different part of the world than you with an online call, for example, but you're not talking to the person who's sitting next to you. Sometimes there is a disconnect in that very act, as it were. Now, of course, the person across the world may be someone you know, but the person who's next to you is someone that you don't know yet, has the potential. Because a stranger is just someone you really haven't got to know yet, really, right? So it can be that you're just looking at the many layers of life. But we have divine connection as one of your final cards there. I hope you can see this. I'll bring it up closer. Very small writing there, but I love this card. It's so beautiful. It says here, your angel beckons you to connect with divine force, to discover your life purpose, and to fulfill your soul mission. You, a unique expression of the divine, are imbued with the strength to conquer any obstacle that comes your way and the capability to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. I would say that's the course that you're on right now. Trust the process. I mean, 200, the number may be relevant. This is, of course, an angel number oracle deck there. We've got 777, that's lucky. 777 is like jackpot. And jackpot doesn't just mean that winning the lottery or going to Vegas and like hitting the jackpot. It means feeling fulfilled in your life, feeling lucky and grateful for everything that you have in this moment, hitting the jackpot of life. And it says, co-create with your energy in perfect harmony with the divine. This is you coming back into harmony. It says, each thought, each feeling and action weaves a tapestry of reality in blissful partnership with the universe. By anchoring In the heart center, oh my gosh, I kid you not. Let me just show you that real close. By anchoring with heart center, so you got anchor and heart. And this card, could have got any card in the deck. I hope you can see that. I've got a bit of a shake in my hand, so hopefully you can see that. But it says there, by anchoring in the heart center, the cosmic flow infuses your life with love, light, and wonder. Everything is working in your favor. That figure is literally sitting on a crescent moon. So some of you may feel like you've had to get comfortable with uncertainty, but that has raised cortisol levels, made you feel frustrated, anxious, sometimes pressurized. But I feel things are aligning for you at this moment in time. It says compassion. Your angels encourage you to cultivate compassion in your heart and spread its warmth and love wherever you go. As I said earlier, you be a great person to run the world because you do lead with compassion and you are informing your part of the world. Your little patch of the world is so important because if everyone just spread love and care and devotion and compassion in their little patch of the world, then every patch would be covered, right? It says, it is the bridge that connects us to one another. When you act with compassion, you tap into the infinite wellspring of love that resides within you and brings light to the world. So there's another heart there, right in the center. Okay, so leading with compassion, leading with your heart, following your heart, but also acknowledging that your heart is an energy pulse. And everything that's inside of you informs your outer circumstances as well. There was a scientific experiment that I have mentioned a couple of times just to highlight how we affect our environment as much as our environment affects us. There was an experiment where 2 plants there were put in like a museum and given the same light source, same energy, same food, same water. And the only difference was that everyone who came to visit the exhibition, everybody had to go to one plant and say, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Thank you for your beauty. You're so gorgeous. I love how you're growing. You're so fantastic. And then the other one, they had to shout obscenities at. And the one that had all the obscenities and hate directed towards it, and you'd had the love-hate thing energy here. Everything is connected in this reading. It's wonderful. Of course, that tree died within a couple of weeks. So it's like everything absorbs energy. You can walk past a person walking down the street. You don't know what they're going through. Compassion is the key. They don't know what you're going through. So, of course, it would be wonderful if everyone had compassion. Then we'd understand on a different level that everyone's going through something that maybe they're not even talking about. And then we just love each other a little bit more. Anyway, it says here, higher perspective. You are now embarking on a journey of divine awakening. Your heart and soul are beginning to open to the boundless wisdom of the universe. As you delve deeper into the mysteries of the divine realm, you will begin to see the world through new lenses, one filled with wonder and greater understanding. An awakening is hard, of course, because it means you see things that other people do not see. The secrets, the undercurrent, the agendas, all of the stuff. And once you see it, you cannot go back. So I feel a lot of you are witnessing these things as well and trying to find anchoring and groundedness in an ever-changing world. But I do see that you're protected and directed. Okay, I'm just going to go and get a trinket or... Oh, I thought they wanted that as well. I don't even know what that was, but it's gone. In there, we have the fleur-de-lis, which connects to the emperor energy. That is a divine masculine energy of taking action. It's also an energy of protection. It's about holding your head held high, alignment. It's about knowing your power and remembering who you are, okay? That you are in command of your circumstances, you are the architect of your dreams, and you are someone who has a lot of power in your situation, and you will attract natural abundance. This is about leadership, it's about responsibility, but it's also about, I would say it's an energy here of being headstrong and recognizing that whilst we all have responsibility, we must balance it out with the law of the universe, which is to bring in joy and fun. Variety is the spice of life. It can't always just be one note, okay? So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates. Also, if you'd like to be in with a chance to win a free personal reading from me, because I am running a competition there, again, all you have to do is, find your favorite song. This is personal for you. Find your favorite song and turn it up loud. positive song, feel the vibrations of it, and it just helps raise vibrations in the world. You don't actually have to do that part if you really don't want to, or you don't have time to, but it would benefit you more than anyone if you did. But all you have to do is put a candle, an emoji of a candle, in the comments box below. And if you don't have an emoji of a candle, then just write the word candle, and I will gravitate towards one subscriber. Well, my guides will give me a name, and I will announce the winner at the end of September. Okay, that's a long period for you to enter as many times as you want. Of course, my guides will draw me to an energy of a person's name, and then of course I'll announce the winner at the end of September. So thank you so much, my beautiful Sagittarians, and love and light.